This video is sponsored by Protect America, a leader in home security systems. We have arranged for you to receive a free indoor camera and doorbell camera when you take advantage of their services. Keep your family safe and check out their website using the special link on the screen or in the description box. Welcome to our next episode of our Max Impact Theory podcast. I'm your host, Tim Rosanelli, here with my producer, Justin Alvieri.
Hey, you.
All right, guys. Well, let's get started right off the bat here. I got a little opener for you. Mine's a little thoughtful, but maybe a little boring. But I've been really thinking about this a lot lately. And this has to do with kind of like a business thought of mine is, when you're in business, you can, whenever you're making decisions or doing anything in business, you can, I like to have, there's a professional way of thinking about things, and then there's the amateur way of handling everything. And one of the things I always ask myself when I'm making decisions in the business, is this an amateur decision or am I making the professional decision? And so, no matter what I do in my business, I always shoot for the professional decision on anything that I do. So that's kind of like my little thought blotter for today.
So by the definition of professional and amateur, professional as in like you could see a professional doing it, or does it make you feel more professional?
Yeah.
Does it come off as professional instead of amateur? Is that what you're saying?
I would say that if you were a professional doing something, the way you think about things always has to be professional in the way you think about it.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't have to, it could be the way people view you, but it's really about the way you feel about the subject. So if you, just look at any big time, like Michael Jordan in basketball, like your amateur would be like, maybe I won't practice today. I feel sick or I don't feel quite up to it. But if you take somebody like Michael Jordan or something, I'm sure, they might have had some days where they were down or whatever, and they would still go in and practice. And that's kind of like the professional thought, like the way you think about things professionally is everything I do in the karate business, I try to think like I'm doing it professionally because that's what we are. I mean, you and I are the only professional martial arts school owners in the area. Everybody else is just part-time, and they're going to do things with a part-time kind of mentality towards it where it's kind of like a side job, like this isn't my main thing. So, when I might cut some corners.
Make sure every single time there's a snow day, we're off. Every single time there's an in-service day, we're off.
Yeah.
We're not off. We're open every day except for like Christmas Eve and Christmas, New Year's Eve and New Year's, maybe Thanksgiving. But we're
Yeah, that's what you're exactly.
Snow days, like everybody.
So that's being a professional schedule.
Yeah.
That's our professional schedule. And when people come in, like I'll tell you, we see a lot of people, new people coming in, and I was thinking about this the other day. Is when people come in, no matter how I feel that day, I might not be feeling great, but I make sure that when those new people come in and I'm talking to them, they don't know that I was having kind of a down day. I didn't feel so good. I just totally block that out. And I go in there with, professional attitude.
I've been putting my professional attitude on a lot recently. I'm going to act like I'm not really tired and want to just go home.
Yeah, that's because of the kid. Yeah,
I'm just so tired right now.
Yeah.
I didn't get any sleep. Oh, so gotta be professional.
When I go into class, a lot of times when I'm teaching in class, it's like kind of like, not lackadaisical. I go in there like, boom, I'm on the subject and really like go in there really with an attitude that I'm going to really put out one of the best classes ever. In fact, one of the things I used to have a mantra that I used to always say to myself before classes or during the day was that today I'm going to teach the best class that I've ever taught. Now, whether that actually happened that night, sometimes might vary from who was there. But the fact of the matter is that was always my intent, every class, to come in and teach the very best class I've ever taught in my life. and that's the way you have to approach almost anything, especially when you're in a business and you're trying to do it professionally. So that was my little professional rant for today. So let's go on to something a little bit more fun.
All right.
Unless you want to continue on that.
Mine is not as thoughtful, but definitely just as passionate. Did you see the new 2020 Mach-E Mustang they're coming out with?
Yeah.
Like,
now, I have a Mustang, so
yeah,
I'm going to
I
have
know you're
an
into
opinion on
Mustangs.
this.
I'm not into Mustangs. I don't.
Yeah.
It's not that I think they're bad. It's just I prefer every other muscle car over them.
Yeah, so just so everybody knows, I have a 2002 Mustang, and I bought it new. And the reason why my wife and I bought it was because that was one of the second year they went back to the retro look, and we really liked the muscle car look. So tell me what the new one looks like.
Well, so they have the GT, right? But that's like $72,000.
Now that looks sort of like more of a muscle car.
Yeah. Now you also have the.
So I like that one.
You also have the EcoBoost one, which we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, EcoBoost and muscle car don't go together.
Yeah.
that's sacrilege.
And then they have the Mach-E, which is an electric sedan, it's basically like a small
Mustang?
like a small
Is
SUV. It's like a crossover almost.
The other one.
The Mach-E is an
Okay.
electric crossover Mustang.
Okay, that sucks.
Yeah. So they're like, the meme that I found out about, I had to research it because it said, Corvette makes a totally new style Corvette because they made their Stingray, which is a mid section.
Yeah, let me see that. You got it on your phone?
It basically looks like a Corvette now.
Yeah.
I mean, not a Corvette, like a Ferrari or something like that.
So he's pulling up the Ford, and okay, and then it has the new Corvette, which kind of looks
Corvette. So Corvette made a new body style, and then Ford says, "Hold my beer."
See, that's a cool body style for the Corvette.
Oh yeah, for sure. People don't like it because it's not classic Corvette, but the thing is, it looks a lot better than the Mustang Mach-E.
Why would Ford be "Hold my beer"?
Like you know why? Well, no, it's like a saying. Like,
yeah, but
hey,
usually
I did something. Oh yeah, watch this. Hold my beer.
Yeah, but that's not as. It should be better, right?
Yeah, well, that's why. That's the joke.
Oh, okay.
Is that it's like, hey guys, I made something that people might not like, but it's totally different, and this is what we're sticking with. And then Ford's like, hey, hold my beer. I'll do that too.
It kind of looks like my wife's car. She has a Subaru Crosstrek, and it almost looks like that, like a cross between a car and an SUV.
So obviously that's ugly, but they got the GT5. I got GT500 stats right next to the Stingray. So the new Stingray versus the new Mustang. Now the new Mustang is going to be around $70,000.
Yeah.
And the new Corvette's going to be around $50,000. So you already have a $20,000 gap.
Yeah.
That's like another car in between.
Wow.
And so there's some 0-60 stats. So the Stingray can launch from 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds.
Yeah, and that means really launch.
Yeah, and then
that's like put the jetpacks on the car.
GT500 is 3.6.
Man, if you put some wings on that car, it'd fly.
Probably.
I mean, at least a little.
Now the Corvette only has 495 horsepower. And the GT500 has 760 horsepower. The thing is, it's heavier,
But that's almost 300 extra horsepower.
The aerodynamics are not good. It's a front engine instead of mid-engine because what they did with the Stingray was they made the Stingray a mid-engine car. So not only does the 0 to 60 faster, the handling's a lot better.
Yeah.
Like they basically turned into almost like a supercar.
Hey, you know what's? Here's an interesting thought. Have you ever thought like how valuable is a car like per horsepower? How much are you paying for
so the
it?
Mustang is $91 per horsepower.
Oh, there is a stat.
Yeah, because that's when I was looking it up. You're like, yeah, it's like
what's the Corvette?
It's like 91 or 92. I didn't look up the Corvette one, but it's like, well, here.
But what was the Corvette? How much the Corvette
The Corvette
cost?
is $50,000 and it's $495.
Okay, so it's not that much more expensive, but compared to
No.
something like a Lamborghini or something, that's
Well, the
a lot of,
GT500 is $91 per horsepower.
yeah, and then it's a lot of horsepower for your
Yeah.
buck. You know, if
Well,
that's
no,
what
it's not. That's a lot of money for 1 horsepower.
Oh, that's a lot of money.
It's
for
a lot
one.
of money
Okay.
for 1 horsepower.
All right.
Basically, they shouldn't be selling a Mustang GT for $70,000.
Because it's too expensive per horsepower.
And Corvette came out with a car that's better and less
Yeah.
by 20 grand.
Well, the GT one I didn't mind so much. I mean, compared to
It looks cool. The
Yeah.
GT500 looks cool, but the problem with it is it's a lot more expensive. And the Corvette, the new Corvette Stingray, looks really cool too. It looks like a supercar,
yeah,
and it's faster. It's way better handling. You know, they both look cool. I mean, obviously it looks more like a supercar, like a Lamborghini or something, not like a classic muscle. But Corvettes never looked like a classic muscle car.
yeah.
So it's either, looks or performance. And for the looks, you're spending 20 grand more.
It's funny that the GT being 70,000. My GT Mustang was like a third of that price when I originally got it. I wonder if that's just, I don't know. It seems like cars these days, the price is a lot more.
So that's like the top end, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that the EcoBoost.
Oh man, EcoBoost.
The EcoBoost Mustang. It's 310 horsepower. And it's going for like 26, 27.
Yeah. You want to hear a funny story talking about EcoBoost? Is when we bought our Mustang, like I had somebody like say, "Oh, you got a Mustang? Like you can't like I wasn't like environmentally friendly because I bought a Mustang." I think it was my son's girlfriend at the time, and the thing is I only put 5,000 miles a year on, less than 5,000 miles a year on it.
Yeah.
So I'm barely driving it, but it's funny how people will just all of a sudden like see you do something, and then they're all of a sudden telling you all the reasons why you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. Now earlier we said how like EcoBoost is not for muscle cars.
Yeah.
Now the thing with EcoBoost is it's a turbo or twin turbo, just putting more air into the engine, which is totally fine. That's a performance package, not an EcoBoost package.
Okay.
If you say EcoBoost package for a sports car, when you could have called it a performance package.
Yeah, it sounds like that's a better.
They're trying to go
sellable.
green with the Mustang.
So you're saying that they could have used performance, but they used eco, which means that they think from a marketing perspective, saying the word eco will get them more money.
Because it gets 21 city and 32 highway.
Yeah, but so it really means nothing. What it means is that they think that the term eco is better than the term performance.
Yeah.
Money wise.
Yeah.
Because there's no real eco to that.
So they have the eco, they have that Mach E, which so Mach E, let's get into that thing. So you have Mach E, right? What's the first Mach? Is Mach 1, right?
Yeah.
That was a really good looking Mustang. It was really fast too. Then Mach 2, right?
Wait, is Mach E for environmental or eco?
Because it's
okay.
Either that or electric, because it's an electric car.
Okay, so keep
you have
going.
Mach 1, Mach 2.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think there was a Mach 3 Mustang. So Mach 1, Mach 2, and then Mach E. It's like, okay, so you're going to pull that Mach badge out because it was 2 really cool, really fast Mustangs, and then you're going to put electric next to it?
Yeah.
Which electric cars are fast, but you can't call it like the thing is it's also not even like a coupe or anything. It's a crossover, like mid-size or small SUV.
A lot of these terms sound like they're just trying to play off of the popularity of the Tesla,
Probably.
To just
I mean, the thing is like if Ford wanted to make a like small SUV that was electric, why the heck did they slap the pony on the front?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like they could have called it anything else, but they had to call it a Mustang Mach E.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
They could have called it like the Ford Thunderbolt or something.
Yeah, they could have totally made a different car, but they decided.
Yeah, they decided to slap a pony on it. That just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, that is weird. That's kind of weird. I don't know. Weird times. It's kind of like the Mustangs of the 70s were real cool, and then because of gas, they used a lot of gas.
They did the 4-cylinder. Nobody ever wants one of those.
And then in the 80s, the Mustangs were just terrible. And then they went back, to the kind of muscle car kind, in the early 2000s. And now it's kind of like they're going back.
So they had the Fox bodies, which I didn't think were cool. Because I like the original Mustangs, like, the 50s, 60s, and 70s, because they had they had the old style classic muscle car look, right?
Yeah.
And then you go into Fox bodies and what you have, and it's not classic muscle car. Yours is a little closer, but it's not like that big wide grill that looks like
the next year they went to that
it's trying to gulp air.
Yeah.
Well, I remember you and Esther being like, "Oh man, we should have waited like one year. You would have been able to got the because you were gonna get the Shelby Cobra, but they didn't have it."
Well, we were looking for we liked the way that the Mustang looked because it's kind of going back to the retro look.
but then
the very next year they really with the grill. Yeah,
they did like a modernized, like it looked so much better. Like, yeah. So yours is like they were transitioning from the Fox body to like what they were going to next, but it wasn't quite there.
But I'll tell you, mine's a lot cooler than what I just saw.
It's true. Your
E.
Mustang's still cool. It's still a Mustang, but like look wise, like I think like early 2000s and like the 90s and I think the 80s, the 4-cylinder one, was the old style, so it still looked good.
Yeah.
And then they went to, like, some people love the Fox bodies. I think the Fox body looks cool, but I don't think it looks cool like as a Mustang.
Well, you notice if you ever go out to like classic cars and antique car show, is they totally skip over the 80s because at that point in time, everybody's trying to do smaller cars with smaller engines just because nobody wanted to pay the cost of gas got so
even
expensive.
Trucks went mini.
Yeah.
Even that's when you got like those 4-cylinder trucks coming out again, like the S10s, where like it's like a small body with like 4 cylinders in it. Like they had to make fuel efficient cars because they're like, hey, gas is outrageous. Nobody's gonna buy our cars, so we're gonna make something. And the other problem is right around that time, Honda and Toyota were like pouring their they were freaking lawnmower engine cars in, and they were super economical. They were super cheap. They were well made,
pretty reliable too.
They were well made, and so people started transferring to that. So that everybody's like, all right, so like the American manufacturers, like, all right, we have to do something to keep up.
Because we went to that car show over the summer for the last 2 years, and you'll always see
my house.
Yeah, you'll see like anything before the 70s and earlier.
Yeah.
You won't see any 80s, and then you'll start seeing some that are a little bit more modern style 90s and 2000s.
They had the whole
stuff.
row of Boss Mach 1s and Mach 2s.
Yeah. But they don't. Well, yeah, you probably could get some. Yeah, you would have to get a specialized car like that though, like because those were kind of like limited edition, right? They weren't like your regular.
I think it was almost like a Shelby Cobra badge where like it was like an extra performance package off the base. I think, I don't know, because like I said, I don't know too much
because
about
the Mustangs were really. The Mustangs back then were really crappy, but I remember I had a friend who bought like a Shelby Cobra, and that was like cooler looking than the regular Mustang.
Yeah.
But that was like the early 90s. I remember having it. So, but yeah, when you go to those car shows, they don't really feature too many 80s cars.
Yeah. So your census is you're just gonna keep your Mustang for now.
Yeah, I want to try to keep my Mustang until it is an antique, and then I was actually thinking of restoring, like getting it.
Is antique before classic?
Well,
as I know, because
I think it's classic first and then antique, right?
Yeah,
25 and 30.
25 and 30, yeah.
So mine's a 2002, so it's going to be hitting the classic, or is it 20 for classic? I can't remember now.
I don't remember.
Well, don't quote us directly. Everything we say is. Close, but not quite there always.
Yeah.
But
ask Google.
Yeah, ask Google. But I just
Alexa, What is a classic car?
Whatever it is, I plan on keeping my Mustang until then, and then when it becomes a classic, I was thinking of maybe getting it totally redone. I want to maybe put some, like, I want to get the blowers on the top, and I always like the ones with the stripe down, like the stripes going down like the racing stripes going down it.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll like get it repainted and redone.
I was watching. The reason I had to say that Alexa thing.
Yeah.
Is because I was watching videos, and they were like, some of them were like, they're commercials, like Alexa commercials are coming out.
Oh, okay.
Because it's Christmas season, and so they always say, Alexa, do this, and my Alexa will go, okay, and I was like, no.
Oh,
stop playing that song, or stop doing this.
But
function.
It's on the TV.
Yeah, it's on the TV. Like it happened to me because we have one in our bathroom so we can listen to music. In the shower, and we have one in our kitchen for like timers and music and stuff.
Yeah.
And so if I'm downstairs watching TV, the Alexa will pick it up and be like, "Okay," it's like somebody was saying, "Alexa, play this song on the commercial for the Amazon Echo," and I was like, "No, stop playing."
What was it that?
So everybody's Alexa just went, okay, searching classic car.
Oh. What about that one? What was that? I heard about a story, and it was like this guy kept on getting bags of dog food or something, and somehow
that's the commercial, right?
What?
Is that the commercial?
I think it was a comedian or something.
It was a commercial for. It might have been a comedian.
I think it was actually a real story, if I remember that somebody like had their dog figure out like the Alexa or something.
I think it was either I think it was a commercial where it was like Aaron Rodgers, his dog.
Oh, okay.
They got like it was like just a joke, like, so the dog got this dog translator for Amazon Alexa, so Alexa can know what the dog was saying, and so like he puts it on, and then like the next 2 days later for 2 days shipping. Yeah. There's like a pallet full of dog food and treats and stuff. I think that's what you're thinking of.
But I think I heard a story about a kid that was using Alexa to buy stuff or something.
That happened a lot.
Yeah. And the parents couldn't figure out why this stuff was going. That's what you have. That's a problem when you have it like linked to your debit account and stuff.
Alexa, buy Legos.
You'll be a really great practical joke on somebody. Would be to go over their house and you knew they had Alexa, and then you start like ordering stuff when they're not around. That would be a great practical joke, But
what you do is you don't do that, because then they're spending money. What you do is you say, add this to my cart, and you make it like embarrassing things.
Yeah.
Like hey Alexa, add 200 rolls of toilet paper to my cart. So they didn't buy it.
Yeah.
It's not spending money, but they'll open their cart up and they got like all this stuff. Or you could do, I don't know if you can do it probably, but you say, Alexa, put a Beanie Baby assortment in my wish list or something. So like people go on like Christmas, people go there and it's like, why does he have Beanie Babies in his wish list?
So the other my brother, he loves practical jokes, and going off of this subject, and I know he won't admit it, but I can guarantee he is the cause of this. All of a sudden we start getting all these like magazines like Martha Stewart and
Betty Crocker,
like whatever those like
Better Homes, stuff
they were
like
that. They were like magazines that women would get, and I was like, man, my wife's really getting a lot of magazines and stuff. And then I look at the magazine and it has my name on it, and I was like, what? I never ordered that magazine. Like I have no interest in that magazine. How did I end up with it? And I swear it was my brother. He will not admit it. Maybe I should go back and maybe I'll admit it now, because this was years ago.
Yeah. Well, he gave us I think it was like $150 in fives for our wedding.
Yeah.
But he put them all in balloons, in balloon animals.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So he made a bunch of balloon animals. There was $5 in each one.
Well, over the years,
except
for
like one or two, there was like 3 or 4, because you could tell he was getting tired towards the end, so he just started shoving a couple in there. So it's like 100. Yeah, there's like 15 balloons.
And remember how
balloon
big
animals.
the box was? It was like a huge box or something they brought.
And then my nieces and nephew were playing with it.
Yeah.
And my sister told them to knock it off, stop playing with it because it was on the gift table. But I was like, I'm glad she did that because they were walking away with money. They were playing with money there.
It's funny. My brother did $5 bills because he always
He does $2 bills
for
normally, right?
For your wife, my daughter. He'd always do $2 bills for holidays, and he's done some really.
Well, it was for me, so you had to step it up.
He had some really crazy gifts. I mean, over the years, one day he just walks up to Chris and hands her an orange and for her birthday, and she's just like looking at this orange like, what? And somehow he put money in that orange that he'd be like, have to eat it. He'd tell her to eat it.
Yeah.
And then one year it was ice cream. One year he had a thing of ice cream, and the funny part was, not only did it have it didn't look like it was opened with the lid, but the plastic coating that goes over the top was totally sealed.
I know he did. He for 1 year he put some money in a wine bottle that was unopened and still had like the cellophane seal or like the tin seal on top.
Yeah, that was a good one because your wife, she does not like clowns, so he made sure that he bought a bottle
with a
clown on it. Yeah. And the other, 1 year he did like origami, like he folded up origami.
Yeah.
And he put that into the it was like $40 in $2 bills, and they were folded into origami. So,
so he came over to see Elijah for the first time, and he put I think it's a $50 bill in one of those like puzzle things where it's like you see the $50 bill, but you have to figure out how to open it. He's like, here, this is for him. And so Chris put a note on it like, for Elijah when he's old enough to figure it out.
Well, did he did something like that to Chris, and Chris got all mad because she like couldn't open it or nobody could open it or something?
Yeah, but he gave it to Elijah when he was like 4 weeks old. So it's just sitting in our basement with a sticky note from Uncle Steve for Elijah.
What was another one? Well, he likes the balloons with money in it.
Well, he loves Mischief Night too. I remember me and Christine were watching a movie downstairs at your house once.
Yeah.
And he found Tasty Cakes.
Oh, yeah.
Variety. And he put like 30 boxes all over your front yard.
Uh-huh.
And then he had like a jug of apple cider just sitting on your front porch.
Yeah, how about, talking about that, Mischief Night was just by, like,
I know.
I could have sworn he was
because he was over our house and he asked like, "Hey, can I see your backyard?" It's like it's dark out there. He's I just gotta look out there for a second. So he walked on the porch and walked back in.
I swore he was going there.
I turned I have cameras inside so we can watch the dog, and I turned him outside so I could see him. Christine's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna catch Steve in our yard." She's like, "Oh, that'd be great." He never did it though.
Yeah, my brother, he's wily.
Hey, it's always good though because we got Tasty Cakes and apple cider out of it 1 year. Didn't you get like Halloween decoration or Halloween gifts for the 1 year because it was like a bunch of M&M dudes?
Yeah, he once put, I think it was over 70, maybe 100 blow up M&M guys, and he had them all over our lawn. He had them under like the welcome mat, hanging from our gutters, sitting on the benches on our front porch. I mean, he just had them everywhere.
At least I know that nobody's going to get in my backyard because not even Steve wanted to try it.
Yeah. Well,
because I have a 6-foot fence all the way around.
I don't know. Maybe he's planning.
He's waiting until next year.
Well, maybe he needs to get some additional information of how to get in there.
Maybe.
Like he might walk out sometime and unlock something.
Well, I told you, I was like, I'm just going to send Oliver out there and see what happens.
Oliver? He wouldn't do anything. Oliver.
Well, that's why I'd send it out there, because Oliver would like bark because there's somebody back there, but then he'd realize it's Steve because he knows him, and then it'd be fine. So he wouldn't actually bite him. But he'd probably give Steve a scare because there's just this 65-pound dog darting out the back door barking at him.
Now, okay, still, I guess we're not going to get to our regular topic, so we might have to go on next week for this. But because this is kind of funny. But I did you have the cameras just focused on the backyard?
No, I had front and back.
Okay, front. Okay.
Yeah, I had the front porch
Okay.
and the backyard.
Because I'm thinking that if he does do it, he's probably going to do it in your front yard.
Well, that's what I thought. I was like, I'll put one in the back just because, but he'll probably do the front because it's a little easier to access.
Well, I don't think it's that. I think he does the front yard so that it looks like your neighbors see your house and it looks like something nuts happened. Because I think that's part of the thrill of my brother doing it, is to make
recognition of.
Yeah, so like the one year he took all our Halloween decorations down, and he put all Christmas decorations up in our front yard. So it made us look crazy because even my neighbor walked out and saw me in the morning and goes, "Hey, Tim, are you a little confused?"
See, that's a good one though.
That was a good one.
Yeah,
that was a good one. And
they're never like destructive or anything. They're usually just fun.
Well, I think now he does it where it's like fun for kids. Now he's done some stuff that to some of our friends that probably could have got him in trouble if it wasn't his friends, because he once went into, well, maybe I shouldn't bring this up because the police were called and and so let's say allegedly, because I wasn't there, I was working. I actually have a alibi because I found this out when I came home from work, and I was working at night. So, but somebody allegedly mischief night went into my neighbor's cars and they never locked their door, so he just put it in neutral, and then him and somebody else, possibly allegedly maybe one of my other neighbors on the other side, and they pushed the car as far as it would go. So like if the wheel was turned, they just pushed it and it was in this field across the street. So, but one car was backed in and facing directly into the field, and they pushed that car about a quarter mile down into the field. And so
that's when you know you're real bored, when you start pushing people's cars around.
I was coming home from third shift, and I which was early in the morning, and my neighbor was out there and asking me if I knew what happened. I'm like, I was just got home from work. And I didn't know what was happening because this, I guess, was one of the first things that mischief things that had happened.
Night.
I don't know why they just keep kind of follow us around. I don't know how that's possible. But this car.
Oh yeah, the other thing is Steve always denies it. He never fesses up. We just know it's him.
Yeah. So I was looking in the field, and this car was just like, it had to have been like a quarter mile, maybe a half a mile in this field. I mean, it was a dot in the field. Like they pushed it that far. And the police were called, and I guess that's where the vow of secrecy came on these mischief night things. But once they went over to a friend's house, and all the windows, he darkened all their windows with black paper.
So they didn't know when.
So when they woke up, their house was pitch black. I think one of them had to do with bubble wrapping somebody's shrink wrapping somebody's car.
Yeah.
So
we've done that to friends before.
Yeah. So the
secret is going over and under.
Yeah. So the first ones of the mischief night were kind of a little more, I don't know. Then it became more fun once everybody started having kids, it became into mischief night, but fun for kids. Like my sister's house, he went down there and he put up these pixie stick kind of aliens that he made, and he put them all over the house. And my niece and nephew, they thought it was the greatest thing. They showed all their friends, they took pictures, probably throw it up there on whatever social media they're on. So it turned into a fun thing when, I guess, now.
Yeah.
So that's the mischief night adventures and everything. So, well, do you got any closers for today?
Bye.
No closers for today.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we did have another subject to talk, but of course,
next episode.
Next episode, we'll bring it up. At least we didn't tell you what it was about, what this episode was about.
Yeah, so in case we change our mind, you guys might never hear it.
But it's a good episode anyway. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna close right here. So if you are interested in being on our show and interviewed, make sure you send us a email at thetheory@maximpactkarate.com.
And let us know if you bought the Mach EE.
Yeah.
Drive us around it and see if you can change our mind on it.
Yeah, bring it over and let us take a
Teslas
ride.
are really fast. People drag race them.
Yeah. Well, I think my problem with it isn't that it's not a good car, but that it just doesn't look like a Mustang anymore.
Why is there a pony on the front?
Yeah. Why is there a pony on the front? And if you guys want to sponsor our podcast, make sure you email us at the same address, thetheory@maximpactkarate.com, and we'll see you in the next episode.